Alright, how we doing, everyone? So it's Sunday, the 24th, and I saw Jurassic World on Friday. So I'm a couple of days late on putting this out. But Fallen Kingdom. So if you have not seen it, I definitely recommend it. I know that the critics haven't been too kind on this film, but the audience, along with myself, were pleasantly surprised by it, because with everything with Jurassic Park, they all feel the same. They're pretty much the same plots. Like the first Jurassic Park and the reboot from a few years ago, they were exactly the same plot. I mean, exactly the same plot. It just, they changed the name from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World, but it was exactly the same. They launched the park, you know, everything goes crazy, and there's a lot of killing going on, and etc. So I was really interested to see where they were going to take this one without using the same plot over again. Even Michael Crichton, who wrote Jurassic Park, stole from himself to write Jurassic Park. So I don't know if you knew this or not. This is kind of interesting. So Michael Crichton actually wrote Westworld first, okay, then wrote Jurassic Park. Westworld had exactly the same plot as Jurassic Park. So if you haven't seen the Yul Brynner version from the 70s prior to the TV show, because the TV show is the same plot, but it takes it from basically the android's point of view, where the movie was more from the people's point of view, like Jurassic Park. So, you know, people went for Westworld, they went to Westworld or medieval world or whatever, and they had to live out their fantasies, and there was robots, and of course one of these people choose Westworld, and the robots go crazy and kill everybody. And Jurassic Park, then, he said, wouldn't it be great if I just reskin that with dinosaurs? And that's exactly how Jurassic Park was created. So it's funny that both of the same plot are all very, very famous. Because it's very hard to say, okay, it's two exactly the same plots, and yet they're both doing very, very well on the visual media. Westworld, of course, was a stellar film back, a very famous and well-known film back in the 70s, and now Jurassic Park the same, and now Westworld's been rebooted again. So good for Michael Crichton, he's able to reuse the same plot over again. Most writers can't do that. So here we are with the same movie being rebooted again with exactly the same plot, and it made still a ton of money. So again, I was very excited to see them do something different, kind of like Star Wars were using the Death Star over and over again. So I was very excited to see where they would take the plot, and I liked what they did with it. Again, I'll go into spoilers about the actual plot points, but yeah, I was excited to see something different. It still had the dinosaurs in it, but it was slightly different, and we'll also go into, in the spoilers, you know, the little girl that's in there and things like that. And Jeff Goldblum, who this probably, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but he has only one scene in the whole movie. So don't get excited about seeing him throughout the film, because he's only in one scene. A stretched out scene, but still one scene. So, but the movie, I'm just going to talk about the trailer itself. They go back to the island because the dinosaurs are now endangered because there's a volcano erupting, and they want to save, you know, at least some of the dinosaurs. And so that's why Claire and Owen end up going back to the island. But of course we have Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt reprising their roles and their dysfunctional romance. And of course then we have the dinosaurs back as well, and they're of course the true stars of the film. But again, without going into spoilers, I can't really talk about too much other than the effects are great again, and we believe with this film that dinosaurs are still around. And that is the magic of Jurassic Park, is for us to suspend our beliefs that these are not CGI characters and that they are, still walking around on an island somewhere. And I think that's what the endearing piece of Jurassic Park is that, it's something that we'll never see in our lifetime. We can go to the museums and things like that and see, the skeletal remains of the Paleolithic era, but we'll never actually see our live dinosaur in our lifetime. So with Jurassic Park, we get as close as we can to experiencing the awe, the wonder, and the horror of having dinosaurs walk among us. The action. So if I was going to go down kind of the path of the film, because Spielberg did not direct this, but it has a very Spielberg look and feel to it, with the the zooming close-ups and all this stuff. And I think, of course, they did that on purpose. It was Amblin Entertainment that produced it. So it's I love the fact that it's still got his feel to it, and it should. I think they should all have. It's kind of like when you have a new director on a TV show where you get a Bible and you have to stand by it. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with Jurassic Park. So they all kind of have that same Spielberg look and feel, and I hope they keep doing it that way, because I like the direction, and of course Chris Pratt he's a leading man, and I got to say that when I first saw him or heard that he was going to do Star-Lord, because I'm a comic book guy, of course I knew who Star-Lord was, and seeing him on Parks and Recreation, I'm like, really, what? But he has really great range, and he's lots of fun to watch, and he's got such charisma. He's a leading man. He's an action man, and I'm glad to see that. And they give Claire a few things as well. She's really not the action woman, because I think that she kind of purposely relies on him in the script. But they give her a few things as well. But she's like more the reluctant hero, where he's more the gung-ho. And so I kind of like that. And then they added James Cromwell in this, who's always great. And then they added two little sidekicks, who were Zia and who was the other guy? And Franklin. Zia and Franklin. So Franklin screams like a girl. And he's the tech guy. And Zia somehow does medicine for dinosaurs. Figure that one out. But she was the tough girl. So you had these two that were kind of a gender swap to the other two. And I love the fact that they took these two people, the two actors, from television. So that was kind of exciting. So Franklin is from The Get Down, and Zia, Daniela Pineda, is both from The Vampire Diaries and the originals. So I think this is really her first big film. Then again, if you can get bigger than Jurassic Park, but yeah, so it's great that they're starting to pull people from television for supporting roles. I think a lot of the TV people deserve a shot on the big screen as well. I know a lot of them want to do it, and a lot of people from the big screen want to do television. So there's always that swap, and it's great to see that swap. And Toby Jones is in it, and he's always good too. He's from Captain America and a pile of other things, Infamous. He's been in everything. But he is a smaller role for him. I'm glad he took it. I enjoyed his role as well. So I'm going to go to rating it. You know, the action, the suspense, the horror side. It pretty much runs the gambit, and of course there's the humor thrown in there as well. But I'm going to give it an 8. You know, it was good. The first one is still better. So maybe it was like a 7.9, but it was definitely enjoyable and definitely worth seeing. And I know it's not making anywhere near as much money as the first one, but I think it's still highly profitable. They brought it in under $200 million. I think it was $170 million, which is great with the amount of CGI that they had to do and keep it realist. Keep the realism there. I think that's great, which means Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are still not asking for those mega millions and keeping the budget. That's not a low budget, but it's lower than, you know, pretty much any other superhero movie that comes out at 200 and change. So it'll still be profitable, and I heard they're already greenlit a third one. So because this one kind of ends in a cliffhanger, so. Not really a cliffhanger, but definitely a complete setup for the next film. So, anyway, check it out, and I'm going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the film, shut me off and keep me quiet. All right? See you in a minute. Okay, so let's talk about the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, shut me off. For Jurassic Park or Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. So the title basically says that that the whole island is being destroyed, hence Fallen Kingdom, and we go into Jeff Goldblum's speech about how dinosaurs should not be living. We should just let them go. And he's giving his speech in front of, I guess, a Senate committee or whatever kind of committee is making the decision on whether to spend tax dollars and free the dinosaurs or save them from ultimate destruction. So then we move into Claire's thing, where now she's come from this mogul into running this Save the Dinosaurs little non-profit, and that was a kind of an odd switch for me because of the fact that she was this huge businesswoman and making all of these calls on a multi-million-dollar or even a billion-dollar level, to the point where now she was running a little teeny hole-in-the-wall non-profit. I don't know. That part of it I found difficult to swallow. But after that, we leave that behind very, very quickly, and she's summoned to James Cromwell's house, and he is going to finance her saving the dinosaurs. But they need her to go because she knows all the codes and everything else, which makes sense that she would have to go. So, but I'm like, so then they're like, well, we need Owen because we need Blue, and of course Blue is the raptor that Owen, which is Chris Pratt, basically developed from a youngling, or whatever you want to call a young dinosaur, a dinosaurling. So he reluctantly comes. In fact, he basically tells her no, and he's building this house, which that's another part that I kind of give points off at, because we never know why. And I think that they left out a line which would have solved a lot of problems with the relationship side, because the relationship side was very clunky through the film. So if they had just said, the reason I was building that house was for you, and meaning him talking to Bryce Dallas Howard. And the reason being is they go into this big thing where he says, well, you left, but I left. She started laughing at him because I told you to leave, and he said, yeah, but I left. Therefore, you didn't break up with me. But the whole thing was that he was so macho or whatever else, he wouldn't let her drive the van or the mobile home that they were living out of, and he felt that she wasn't comfortable in it, and she was more like, well, that's because you didn't let me drive it, so you know, I couldn't, there was no equality between us, and so I kind of see that. But for him to go and say, I was building this house for you, that meant he still wanted to be with her, and we never get that thing. So I thought the relationship between them was pretty clunky, but I think me as well as the rest of the audience wanted them together again. So we kind of went, you know, we know that part's kind of clunky in the script, but let it go. So anyway, he never actually agrees. He just pops up in the plane, and I was wondering when they were going to the plane in the island with the plane, I'm like, don't they need a ship to take these things off? Or wouldn't they be traveling by ship? But then my questions were answered by the time they got there, as a whole team was already there. And I guess since the government didn't want anything to do with it, then Cromwell, who I guess was still connected to the original corporation, although we never hear that either, I think that was all broken apart. Yet they let them come and take the dinosaurs off, which I found was kind of strange too. There should have been something to explain that that they had filled out forms or whatever they had done to allow them to take the dinosaurs off, instead of it just being kind of a backstreet type of deal. So anyway, they get there, and of course, as soon as they get there, all hell starts breaking loose, and the volcano erupts, and you know, they're basically running for their lives, which is a great scene. That I love that scene with the ball rolling down into the. I was so well shot, you know, with their hand on the thing, with the water coming up, and him diving underneath with the knife and the gun and the things. It was really good. Great scene. And all the cloud of smoke. Anyway, it's really good. So, but from there, I'm like, okay, it's already the middle of the movie, and we're done with the island already. So, and of course, they kidnap Blue. That whole scene was really good too, where he's like, no, what are you doing? But here was the thing that I had a problem with. So, he shoots Blue, right? One of the guys shoots Blue, and of course he gets killed. But you know, the main guy's a dick, and and then he tases Owen. But Blue never sees that. So for all Blue knows, she was set up by Owen. I think that they should have tased him first. If Blue had seen him be tased first, and then she was shot, because you still had Zia there that whole time to say, no, you're going to bleed out, whatever. I think that it would have been better for the ending. So there's a couple of things. I think the script needed just a little bit of tweak to make it better, but just, you know, minor tweaks. So anyway, because you know, as you know, Blue at the end doesn't blame him for any of that, and you know, of course, through the surgery, but how would she know she was being helped? Because for all she knows, she was getting even hurt further. But anyway, I liked where they went with the ending, that everybody was on auction, and I kind of knew that the other guy was going to go turn bad, but the big thing, the big twist with the girl being a clone, I love that. I thought that was great. I love the whole ending where they were trying to escape, and that really sets up for the next film as well. Of course, the first film kind of, this kind of sets up for the ending of the very first Jurassic Park, where, you know, the T-Rex was running around. But now we have all of them running around, and we had, as you know, it ends with Blue kind of looking over the skyline, looking at, you know, all of the homes and everything else. So who knows what's going to happen from here, and that's why we kind of need a sequel to see what happens, because Jurassic World's never taken, or Jurassic Park never took it in this direction before. Yeah, we had the Tyrannosaurus Rex running through the streets, but we never had a whole residential area that may or may not be in danger at this point. So again, I like the additions of the new cast with Franklin and Zia. I like where they took the plot. The other problem was the main villain, the Ken Wheatley guy, who was the military guy. He tases the new Raptor that they've got, right? He tases the new Raptor, and then he walks into the cage just to get the tooth. I have a hard time with that. I mean, I like the scene where the thing was just playing possum and his eye opens up and everything like that. But what an idiot! I mean, he didn't. It was good to see him, you know, get his arm ripped off and stuff like that because the guy was such a dick. But come on, how stupid can you be to walk in to get a tooth? That whole plot line just did not work for me. So that's why there's some plot points that need to be revoked from, or points that need to be revoked from it being a really good movie. But again, it could have been rewritten just a little bit, where we could have been a little bit more believable that the guy would walk in there and get mauled. I did like the you know, Toby Jones thought he had said, but if you get into an elevator, you've been on the other side of an elevator where the doors close and you hit the button, those doors don't reopen. That thing's gone already, and it'll come back down for you. But he hit the button after it was like a full 30 seconds after the doors had closed and the doors reopened. You know, and of course Toby Jones was killed. But I mean, I like that. But again, it was kind of pushing reality where that elevator would have been gone. So just my minor little tweaks that could have been done for the film to be better. But all in all, it was lots of fun. You know, it moved throughout. The pacing was good. I wasn't ever bored, especially when, you know, I thought the island thing would be at the end and it was in the middle of the film. And then it totally took a, you know, twist with everything being back at the mansion, and then the, you know, the whole storyline with the little girl. Thought that was really good. Anyway, enjoyed the film. I hope you guys did too. And if you have any comments to my comments, please leave them below. And also make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And have a great week. And I'll see you on the next one.